A very good morning to all of you friends. Today we are going to discuss about a very important topic, that is the human digestive system. Okay, in our previous video we have seen and studied about the digestive system diagram, okay, the different parts of digestive system. Now today let us study how these separate parts they help in the process of digestion one by one. Okay, so today's video is very important. Now we started with the buccal cavity. You know, the digestive system starts with the buccal cavity. Now in the buccal cavity, the first one that we said, the buccal cavity. Now in the buccal cavity, there are some parts, like we can say there are the teeth. Okay, we have read about the teeth. We have going to study about tongue as well as salivary glands. Okay, listen very carefully. Now in the buccal cavity, teeth are present. Okay, the tongue is present and salivary glands are present. Now about the teeth, we have studied that these teeth they help in biting the food. Okay, the chewing the food, they help in grinding food, etc. So teeth are useful to us because they cut the big pieces of food into smaller pieces so that enzymes can act on them. Okay, how is the tongue important? The tongue help us to soften the food along with the help of saliva that is released by the salivary glands. Okay, so it helps in mixing of the food, as well as the tongue also help in swallowing the food. Okay, pushing the food in the esophagus. Okay, another non-digestive role of tongue is that it helps in speaking, singing, etc. Speaking, singing, that is non-digestion. Okay, non-digestive function. But the actual function of tongue is to mix the food with saliva as well as help in swallowing the food. Okay, the third most important part of the buccal cavity, these are the salivary glands. I already told you that there are 3 pairs of salivary glands, and these salivary glands they release a digestive enzyme that is called saliva. Okay, what is the function of this saliva? Saliva converts carbohydrate food, okay, carbohydrates, like we can say starch, okay, that means very complex form, so carbohydrate, into simple form, that is sugars, or we can say glucose or maltose, etc. Okay, so starch or carbohydrate, they are converted into simple forms, that is glucose. That means if this is carbohydrate, okay, so it will be converted into glucose like this. So complex substance is broken into simple substances. So saliva act on carbohydrate type of food and convert starch into glucose. Okay, so these are the functions of the different parts which are present in the buccal cavity. Now let us see the next one, that is esophagus. Now in the esophagus is actually a muscular, okay, long tube-like structure. It is also called food pipe, and it has only one function that is it joins the buccal cavity and the stomach. Okay, so it is a pipe-like muscular structure, long, narrow, hollow, and it joins the buccal cavity and the stomach. Next comes the stomach. The stomach, you know, it is a bag-shaped structure like this. Okay, bag-shaped structure, muscular bag-shaped structure, in which actual digestion takes place. Okay, so in the stomach actual digestion takes place. Although digestion starts in our mouth, buccal cavity, but actual digestion takes place in the stomach. Okay, most of the digestion, you can say most of the digestion takes place in the stomach. What happens, suppose food particles are present. Now here 3 things will be released, or the stomach secretes digestive juices. Okay, what are these digestive juices made up of? These digestive juices are made up of 3 things. The first one is HCl, next one is mucus, okay, or CUS, mucus, and enzymes. Okay, so what is digestive juice actually made up of? Digestive juice is secreted by the inner linings of the stomach, and it consists of 3 things: HCl, mucus, and enzymes. Now let us see one by one what is the function of HCl. Now the function of HCl is hydrochloric acid. Okay, hydrochloric acid. Now this hydrochloric acid does 2 things. One is to kill the bacteria that is present in the food, if any. Okay, and second function of HCl is to make the food acidic, so that these enzymes can work on them. Okay, once again, the function of HCl is of two types. One is to kill the bacteria, if any, present in the food, and second is to make the food acidic so that enzyme like pepsin can act on it and help in digestion of protein. So HCl has got two functions. Then comes mucus. Mucus is nothing but a fluid type of substance that is released by the wall in this way. The mucus actually protects the inner lining of the stomach from the action of HCl, because HCl is acid. Sometimes you must have felt burning sensation in your stomach. That is because of release of too much of HCl. Okay, and in that place we can feel the burning inside our stomach. So in order to protect our internal lining of the stomach from the action of HCl, mucus protects us from that acidic condition. Okay, so the function of mucus is to protect the internal lining of the stomach from the action of not only HCl but other enzymes also. And third one, enzymes. These enzymes can be like pepsin. Okay, so pepsin is one of the enzymes which can convert protein into peptides and peptones. Okay, so it breaks complex substances of protein into simple substances like peptones, peptides, etc. Okay, so digestive juice is made up of HCl, mucus and enzymes. So you should know what are the functions of these components of digestive juices. Okay, now after the stomach, then comes the small intestine. Now let us see in the small intestine what happens. Last day I have already shown you that the small intestine is a highly convoluted structure. Okay, like this. It is a highly convoluted structure. Here what happens, if this is the stomach, then here two things are poured. What are the two things? First, from the liver, if this is the liver, from the liver, bile salts are secreted. Okay, bile salts are secreted. These bile salts, they are stored in the gallbladder. So liver produces the bile salts and gallbladder stores the bile salts. Okay, what is the function of these bile salts? They help in digestion of fats and oils. Okay, fats and oils. So if you eat too much of ghee and butter, then bile salts will help in emulsification, that means breaking them into small globules of oils and fat, and easy digestion of enzymes like lipase, etc. Okay, so the function of bile salt is to break down the big molecules of fat and oil into smaller droplets. So it helps in digestion. Okay, so from here the small intestine starts. So small intestine gets the first secretion from liver, and the second secretion it gets from the pancreas. Okay, pancreas. What does this pancreas has? This pancreas has pancreatic juices. These juices are also poured in the food. Okay, so juices from the pancreas, they also contain different types of digestive enzymes which help in digestion of substances. Okay, digestion of certain substances. Now after that the food passes through these. Okay, now here complete digestion takes place. Okay, so please remember, in the small intestine complete digestion of food takes place. In the stomach most of the digestion takes place, but in the small intestine complete digestion of food takes place. Okay, that is why in the stomach internal linings of the small intestine there are some finger like projections like this. Okay, these are called villi, and sometimes these villi are again made up of finger like projections called microvilli. Okay, so these are villi and these are microvilli. VILLI. Okay, villi is plural, villus or vilus is singular. So these villi, they are finger-like projections which are present in the internal wall of the small intestine. What is the function of this villi? These villi, they are richly supplied with blood vessels. Okay, and they help in absorption of digested food, and they carry that digested food to the bloodstream, from where the blood will carry this digested food to each and every cell and tissue of a body for production of energy. Okay, so in the small intestine absorption of food takes place, also digestion of food takes place. Two things takes place here. Okay, both digestion of food as well as absorption of food. How is digestion of food taking place? Because enzymes are present, enzymes from the pancreatic juice, okay, bile salt, and the small intestine also has its own digestive enzymes. So you can well understand complete digestion takes place in the small intestine of our body. Also, absorption of digested food takes place by the help of villi, which are present in the internal lining of the small intestine. Okay, now after that, what happens? After the small intestine, now almost all the digestion and absorption is over. Now the food is going to become waste. Okay, so then comes the large intestine. So this is the appendix, this is the large intestine. So what happens in the large intestine? Let us see. Now in the large intestine, what happens? Digestion of food does not take place. Okay, there is no digestion of food, only absorption of water and some useful salts take place. Please remember, in the large intestine, digestion of food does not take place, but water and salts are absorbed from the undigested food. Now this undigested food is called waste. Okay, it is in the solid form now because it is waste. All the water has been absorbed by the internal walls. Okay, they have absorbed all the water. Okay, now the last part of the large intestine is called rectum. In this rectum, the food is stored temporarily, and through the last part of the digestive system, that is anus, through this opening, the waste product is removed from our body. That process is called egestion. Okay, so once again, if we say, we start with ingestion, then digestion, then absorption, assimilation, and egestion. Okay, so in this way the whole process of nutrition is completed. Now one more thing that you should know is that, so we have done buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. Now you should also know that carbohydrate is a nutrient and it is converted by the help of enzymes into glucose, okay, or maltose or lactose, very small units. Okay, protein is converted into amino acids, and fats and oils are converted into glycerol plus fatty acids. Okay, now these are called the end products. Okay, end products. Okay, these are called the end products. That means these are assimilated or incorporated in the individual cells. Mind you, our body cells are very minute. They cannot absorb carbohydrate, protein, and fat and oils. Food must be converted into end products, very small units, so that our body can absorb them. Okay, so please go through the summary and learn the summary, write down, and please draw the diagram of the digestive system also. Thank you so much for watching this video.